Hi, again, I am Miss Mallory, and I am from the Quinen Street Project, which brings drama not into your classroom, I guess, but into your living room or wherever you are watching this from. This is going to be one of my last videos for you. I'm going to include 2 lessons today, but first of all, I just want to say that you are doing a great job, and I think that you're doing the best that you can with all of the circumstances that are happening right now, and I definitely miss seeing you guys. I wish I would have been able to work with you more. So just want to say you're doing a good job as the school year comes to a close, and just stay positive and be nice to your parents. That's all I have to say about that. So again, I'm Miss Mallory, and I'm from the Quinen Street Project, and we are working on drama in this class. Specifically, we are working on performance and bringing a story to life, which is the meaning of drama. Drama means telling a story or bringing a story to life. And we do that by using our 3 tools. We have 3 tools that we have. They're called the 3 tools of an actor, and they're on you already. And if you remember what they are, go ahead and say it out loud. What are the 3 tools of an actor? They're this, and this. That's right. It's your body, your voice, and your imagination. And that's the foundation of performance and of drama, is using the 3 tools that you have on you already to tell a story. So today we are going to be working on dialogue and narrative, and we'll also be working with our voices, which is one of the tools that we have. But first, I would love to check in with one word that describes how you're feeling. So how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling today? And I would like to see you physicalize it. So use this part, this tool of you as an actor to show me how you're feeling today. So today, for example, I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling optimistic. So being optimistic means having a good outlook, thinking of positive thoughts for the future. With everything that's happening right now, sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. But today I feel optimistic, and I'm going to show you that with my body by doing this. Hi, I'm Miss Mallory, and today I am feeling optimistic. So now it is your turn. Give me one word that describes how you're feeling and show me what you're feeling with your body and your voice. There's no wrong answer. All right, good job. So usually if we were in class, this is what I would be doing every day that we meet, is checking in to see how you're feeling, to describe in one word how you're feeling. And this is important not only because it's important for drama and for telling a story, to be able to connect a feeling word with how you would convey it with your body and your voice. So that's one reason why checking in with one word is important. If I am acting on stage and I say, I'm sad, or I'm sad, or I'm sad, which one do you think is more believable? That's right. If I'm saying I'm really sad, that's a really important part of drama, is being able to connect with what you're saying with how you look on the outside. And another reason is beyond drama. I think it's important to say how you feel and be honest with how you feel, and to be able to express that in a way that helps yourself and helps those around you. So that's one reason why saying how you feel is really important. So that's what we would usually be doing every day during class if I were to see you in person, is we would all share how we're feeling. Sometimes we're tired, sometimes we're bored, sometimes we're sad, but sometimes we're also happy and excited, and those are all very important emotions. It's okay to have all of those things in one day even. So before we move on, let's go ahead and review what we have learned so far. So I already went over drama. Drama is telling a story. We have the 3 tools of an actor. So we have our bodies, we have our voices, and we have our imaginations. Something else that we've learned, we have these 2 words that kind of have to do with each other. They are tableau and pantomime. What does tableau mean? If you remember, feel free to tell me. What is tableau? That's right. So tableau is it's a frozen picture. And you're using your body and your imagination, but you're not using your voice for a tableau. So it's to give you a frozen picture of something that's happening in the moment. So if I were to give you a tableau of a boxer, it would probably look like this. So tableau of a boxer. On the other hand, we also have pantomime. What is a pantomime? What does it mean to pantomime something? It's kind of the opposite of tableau. That's right. Pantomime is a moving picture. So tableau is frozen, pantomime is a moving picture. So if I were to be, if I gave you a pantomime of a boxer, you would also not use your voice, and you would do something like this. So that's a pantomime. It's a moving picture of a boxer. What else did we learn? We also learned the word ensemble. That's ENSEMBLE. And last time I explained that is actually a French word, and it means what? Actors, this is really important for actors because you can't always do this alone. So instead you work together. So ensemble means working together as a team. We also went over what the structure of each story is. So there are 3 parts to almost every story, most stories. And what are they? What are the 3 parts to a story? That's right. Beginning, middle, and end. So pretty much every story has 3 parts, and it is the beginning, the middle, and the end. In the beginning, we get introduced to the character, we get introduced to the setting, when it's set, when the story is set, what the story is about, and at some point we are introduced to why the story is being told. Sometimes that's being made up by the watcher. So it's usually the 5 W's. So who, what, when, where, and why. And those things are usually answered in a story, sometimes all of it in the beginning. Then we have the middle, which is when we run into conflict. And another word for conflict is problem. It's when the objective or the goal of two or more of the characters just don't match up, and that's when you get conflict. Sometimes it has to do with money, sometimes it has to do with power. There are all sorts of things that can create conflict. And then we have the end, and in the end we kind of get a solution to the problem. We get an answer, and things just tend to go okay by the end of a story. So the 3 parts to a story are the beginning, the middle, and the end. Now, before we go into anything else, like with everything that we do, we must warm up. So like with athletes have to warm up their bodies. Singers, they have to warm up their voices before they go on stage, because if you don't, you could end up injuring yourself. If you strain something too hard, or say you haven't done it in a while, then not warming those things up can really You could injure your body, or you can actually injure your vocal cords. And another reason that we warm up, one of the things that we warm up is our imagination. So we're warming up our tools. And when we have this time to kind of physicalize things and move around and do our vocal warm-ups, then it gets our imaginations running too, because we start thinking of different ways that we can use these different tools. So first, let's warm up. First off, I want you to reach above your heads. Act like there's candy in the ceiling. So reach your hands up above your head. You can even act like you're climbing a rope. Now, wiggle your fingers. Drop your fingers. Drop your wrists. Drop your elbows. And then drop your shoulders. Now, take a crayon. This is a crayon in my head. Put it on top of your head like this and draw some circles with your head with that crayon onto the ceiling. Draw 4 circles. Now do it the other way 4 times. Very slowly. Now, I want you to take that crayon, take it off of your head, break it in half, and stick each half on your shoulders. Here and one here. Now, draw circles on both sides of the room with the crayons on your shoulders. Let's do 4 backwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now 4 forwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just heard some bones cracking. Okay. Now, take these crayons, put them back together. Just put it away for now. Set it to the side. Now, I want you to give me a superhero chest. So what does a superhero chest look like? For me, a superhero chest is nice and big and proud and powerful. So let's do superhero chest. Now let's do a villain chest. Villain kind of just gets small and tiny and evil, right? Now let's go back to superhero chest. Big and proud and out. And then villain chest. And small. Shrink. Now superhero chest again. Now villain chest. Superhero chest. Now villain chest. Oh, okay, good job. Now, I want you to create a ball of energy in between your hands like this. So clap your hands, knees your hands. Now clap them together and create a warm ball of energy until it becomes nice and warm. Okay, now wake up your body with this ball of energy. Start off with your head, back of your head, your face, your arms, shoulders. Let's go to your chest. Go like this. Ah. Now go to your belly and your back and your hips and your thighs. Now your legs and your calves. Even to your feet. Okay. Now I want you to warm up your face. So make your face nice and big like this. Eyes big, mouth big. Now small. Big. Now small. 2 more times. Big. Now small. Big. And small. Okay. Now, we need to warm up our voices and our mouth. So, first you're going to blow your lips out like a horse, but don't make any sound and don't make any vibrations with your mouth. You just go like this. Now you can play with sound and vibrating your lips. Play with some sound. let's go ahead and warm up our voices and this tool here, our face, our body, our mouths. We're going to do this by going through the alphabet. So with every letter that you say, don't just say A. I want you to use your entire face to do the alphabet. So if I say A, it's A. So make sure to use your cheeks and your lips and your nose and your eyes to do the alphabet. We're going to start at the beginning. Ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So hopefully your cheeks are all warmed up and loosened now. Now, let's get into some tongue twisters. I have a couple for you. If you know them on your own, you can do your own, but I'll start off with a couple. Unique, New York. You know you need unique, New York. Now say it again with me. Unique, New York. You know you need unique, New York. I say it a little bit faster. Unique, New York. You know you need unique, New York. Unique, New York. Unique, New York. You know you need unique, New York. You know you need unique, New York. Unique, New York. Unique, New York. You know you need unique, New York. Now let's try this next one. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. You might know this one already. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Let's do it a little bit faster. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? A little bit faster. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? And one more. The big black bug bleeds blue-black blood, but the little black bug bleeds blue. The big black bug bleeds blue-black blood, but the little black bug bleeds blue. The big black bug bleeds blue-black blood, but the little black bug bleeds blue. A little bit faster. The big black bug bleeds blue-black blood, but the little black bug bleeds blue. Oh my gosh. Good job. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, so good job warming up. I hope that you are psyched and you're ready to go for this lesson. Let's go ahead and start off with dialogue and narrative. As I mentioned earlier, that's what we're going to be working on today. Dialogue and narrative, and what the difference is between those two. So dialogue is a conversation between two or more people. Now, one person can have a conversation with themselves, but mostly in plays and in movies and in television, a conversation is a dialogue. Dialogue is a conversation between two or more people. If you're sitting at a dinner table with your brother or your cousin and your mom, the conversation that you're having between each other is dialogue. A narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events or a story. A narrative is a spoken or written account of connected events or a story. So, for example, if you are watching a movie and you hear that voice in the beginning of the movie and it says, "Once upon a time, there was a girl who lived in a castle and she was miserable and she just wanted to be outside and live in a regular village." That's a narrative. It's someone telling the story, telling someone else's story. That is a narrative. So it's a spoken or written account of what is happening in a story. That is a narrative. Again, dialogue is a conversation. Narrative is a written or told spoken story. Now that we have that, I want to introduce an activity that we would actually be doing in class, but we are not together, unfortunately, so we won't be able to do this together, but I want to explain it to you, and I'll try to act it out myself so that you can kind of get the gist of it, kind of get an idea of it. So what would happen is that I would arrange us in a stage and an audience formation. So that means that some of us would be watching, and then I would have 3 people, 3 students, you on stage, and the 3 people would be the actors delivering a dialogue. So it'd be a conversation between three people. One person would be neighbor 1, one person would be neighbor 2, and the third person would be doctor or the doctor. And I will go ahead, I'm going to put the script up right now to show you. Okay, so that is what the dialogue looks like. And it's okay if that was too quick for you. You don't have to memorize it or anything like that. But if you would like to participate and you would like to practice this with your family or whoever you live with, please feel free to do that. It's a lot of fun, actually, and it's one of the things that students usually love to do the most. They request to do this all the time. So this is called Scrambled Eggs, and I will go ahead and act out these different parts as 3 different people to show you what it's about. So this is what I will look like as neighbor 1. This is what I'll look like as neighbor 2. And this is what I will look like as doctor. Sound good? Okay. Action. Would you like some eggs? Yes, please. Oh, these eggs are terrible. Ah. Doctor! I'm sorry. She's dead. No! And that is what dialogue looks like between 2 or more people. So remember, a dialogue is a conversation between 2 or more people. So that scene is between 3 people. So if you'd like, please go ahead and play with that with whoever you're living with. It's a lot of fun. Again, that's called Scrambled Eggs. Okay, now we're going to go into an activity called Documentary Filmmaker. And usually if we were in class, we would be doing this up on its feet, and you and your classmates would be the actors and I would be the documentary filmmaker, narrating everything that's being done. So the way that this works is that I'm going to start narrating. I'm going to start telling a story of what somebody is doing, and that somebody is going to be you. I will narrate, and you will act out on the other side of the screen here what it is that I'm saying. So again, I am the documentary filmmaker. I'm going to be narrating. I'm going to be telling a story of what it is that you're doing, and you're going to act it out. You can pantomime it. You can use your voice for this one if you'd like, but go ahead and stand or sit there on the other side of the screen and act out what it is that I am saying. Once upon a time, there was a Bayview Elementary school student, and they were sitting at their computer watching their drama teacher's lesson for the day, which was dialogue and narrative. And they had a thought, and they said, you know what? They thought, you know what? I'm actually really hungry. So they walked first. They looked at their watch, even if it's an imaginary watch, on their wrist to see what time it was and to see if it was time for lunch already. And then they got up from their chair and they walked over to the kitchen. First, they looked in the cupboards on the far left. Didn't see anything in there that they wanted to eat. Then they took 2 steps to the right and looked in that cupboard. And sure enough, they found some mac and cheese. So they opened up the box of mac and cheese, and with the help of a parent or guardian, filled up a pot full of water for the noodles. Then they placed the pot of water on the stove to boil. Once it was done boiling, the wonderful and talented and amazing Bayview Elementary School student poured the noodles in into the boiling pot of water. Then they covered the pot with a lid and cooked the noodles for 10 minutes until they were soft. Then they removed the water from the pot and added the cheese powder and butter to make a delicious mac and cheese. And once it cooled down a little bit, they stirred the pot a little bit. They stirred it to get all of the cheese distributed throughout the noodles. Then they waited for it to cool for just a moment. Then they dished out 3 scoops of the mac and cheese onto their plate. And then they took their first bite of the mac and cheese that they made. The end. So hopefully you were pantomiming and you were acting out this whole thing. You don't even have to get up and walk all the way over to the kitchen. If you want to rewind this and do this over again and try it out, you don't have to walk all the way to the kitchen to do this. You can pantomime it in place where you are right now. So just act like you're going over to the kitchen, opening some cupboards, and just act out like you were doing all of those things. Okay, so that is documentary filmmaker. And in that case, I was the narrator. So I was the person telling the story and you were acting it out. Now you can try this with whoever you're living with if you want to play documentary filmmaker with them. And you can narrate the story, and then whoever you're with, they can go ahead and act out whatever it is that you're saying. It's really fun. So that is the difference between dialogue and narrative. Remember, dialogue is a conversation between 2 or more people, and a narrative is a story that's being told by someone. Okay? Okay. On to the next. Okay, now we are going to switch gears and start talking about voice. So voice is the second tool that you have in your toolbox of you as an actor, and the voice is very important because you can change your voice depending on your character, and your voice can really change who the character is, what they're asking for. It just completely informs the audience and who's watching what the story is about. So, for instance, if I'm a dragon, and I am a dragon that sounds like this, what do you think of that dragon? But if I am a dragon who sounds like this, what do you think of that dragon. The first dragon is probably more confident, more powerful. Maybe he, burns down more trees with his fiery breath. But if you're talking to a dragon like this, maybe it's a starter dragon. Maybe it's a dragon that's just starting out. Maybe it's a baby. Maybe he's kind of shy and he doesn't want to burn down any trees. So a voice can really change a character and change a story. So today we're going to work on some vocals. And there are a few different places in your body that your voice can come from. Now, one of the places that it can come from is your head, and I'll explain this in a second. It can come from your head. It can come from your nose. It can come from your chest, or it can come from your belly. So those are 4 different places on your body that your voice can come from. Now, we're going to, hopefully, maybe you have seen The Wizard of Oz, which is about Dorothy, and she is in the land of Oz, and there's all different types of characters that she meets along the way, and they all have voices that come from different places. So please do this with me. Please do this activity with me. We're going to start off, and you are going to put your hands on your stomachs, okay? And we're going to make belly sounds. And we're going to say ha 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 and ho ho ho. Ready? So with your hands on your belly, make some belly sounds make sounds that sound like they're coming from your belly. So ha ha ha, ho ho ho, ha ha ha, ho ho ho. Then put up your fists and say, put 'em up, like the Cowardly Lion. Let's do that again. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, put 'em up, put 'em up. So that's the Cowardly Lion. And that sound comes from your belly. So if you notice, that voice was a little bit deeper. It was a little bit louder. When I think of that kind of sound, I think of Santa Claus. And Santa Claus kind of has this like nice big round belly, and he kind of talks like this, ho ho ho. And if you try speaking from your belly, you'll notice that your voice is a little bit louder. It's a little bit more full, a little bit more rich. And so that's what it might sound like for your voice to come from your belly. Now, we're going to put our hands on our chests like this. And we're going to make a big chest voice and go, ah, oh. So repeat after me, and you could actually feel the vibration in your chest when you do this. So go, ah, oh. And then put up your arms and say, I am the great and powerful Oz. So if you notice, again, you can feel your voice. You can kind of feel the vibration of your voice in your chest when you have your hands here and you say it out loud. So you go, ah, and I can feel it in my hands. And a voice from the chest, again, kind of like your belly, it's a little bit louder, but it's less like deep. It comes from a higher place. And so, again, it's less deep. If your hands are on your chest, I imagine that you're going to be more, you're going to be like confident and powerful, and just kind of like out there, and you have like this presence about you, right? So your chest is also where your heart is. And so when you speak with your chest and you have your chest out, it conveys, or it gives your audience like a different feeling of what that character is like. Next, we have our nose. So go ahead and pinch your nose and make a nasally resonant sound like nay, nee, and yay. So let's do it together. Pinch your nose. Echo. Nay, nee, yay. and then do creepy fingers like this and go, I'll get you, my pretty, but with your nose. So how your nose was a second ago. So you go, nee, 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 yay. And I go, I'll get you, my pretty. And that's what a nose sound sounds like. For no sounds, it's a little bit nasally. So it's nasally, it's higher pitched. It's not so much based out of your chest or your belly. It's all in here. And I always hear that voice when I'm watching villains. So in The Wizard of Oz, it's like the Wicked Witch of the West. I think it's a West. And she has a really pointy nose too. And she kind of talks like this. And she's very sly and evil. And it sounds like she's always coming up with a bad plan. So that's where your nasal or your nose voice comes from. Finally, let's go ahead and play with our head voice. So let's put our hands on top of our heads like this. And experiment with your head voice. So say, hey, he, who, and then put your hand up and then say, follow the yellow brick road. So again, put your hands on top of your head and say, hey, he, who, and then lower your hands and say, follow the yellow brick road. So I feel like the head voice is lighter, not nasally like the nose voice, but it comes from a higher place. Maybe it's more uplifting, just lighter, more uplifting, maybe more positive. Maybe that kind of voice is good at giving directions. So that's what I think of the head voice. So let's talk about the different voices that are in Rosie, Revere, and Janier. Rosie, so I charted out where these different voices, these different characters' voices would come from. So I think that in the beginning, when it says that Rosie sits shyly, I would think that her voice more comes from her head. She's kind of more in her head. She's shy. She doesn't really talk from her belly or her chest. She's not very confident, right? So I would say that her voice comes more from her head. Uncle Zookeeper Fred, when it says that he slaps his knee and he hoots, I would think that his voice comes from his belly. I imagine this kind of burly guy and he's slapping his knee and he's like, ho, 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 and chuckling. Oh, ho, 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 ho. That sounds very much like a belly voice. It's very full. It's a little bit older. And then we have great aunt Rose. I was thinking that maybe her voice would come from her nose. So this is how I imagine that she would say her lines. So, the only thrill left on my list is to fly. So she is older. She's a great aunt Rose. She's been around for a while. She's been inventing things too. And when I think of older women, I think of a nose voice. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. So that's a very nasally voice. Or when she says, you did it, hooray. So, you did it, hooray. It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. So that's a more nasal voice. And then we have the Blue River Creek students when they all stand and cheer at the end. I would imagine that comes from the chest. So that would be a chest voice. So go, woo! So when you're cheering at a game or anything like that, like we were talking about earlier, I think of, kind of like yelling from your chest and making that sound and making your voice heard far and wide and with confidence and cheer. All right, good job today. Fantastic job trying different voices and learning about narrative and dialogue and just welcoming these new ideas into your head. and I hope that you had fun with drama class today. I would like to check out and see how you feel. So this is something that I would also do in class if we were together, is, we check in at the beginning of class, how do you feel? But you might feel different at the end of class. Maybe if you were feeling bad in the beginning of class, maybe you feel better, or vice versa. Maybe you don't feel so good now. So go ahead and take this moment to think about how it is that you feel right now at the end of class. So tell me, how do you feel? And show me with your body and your voice. All right, cool. Well, how do I feel at the end of class? I feel kind of sad. I'm sorry. I'm happy that I can bring these lessons to you, but I feel kind of sad that I can't work with you in person. So while I am optimistic, like I said in the beginning of class, I do feel a little bit sad that I can't work with you. So that's what that would look like. Sad. But I am excited that I get to send you videos anyway, and I hope that this, brings you a little bit of a change of what you're doing in class, and helps you connect drama and storytelling to everything else that you're learning, and maybe what you hope to do in the future. So yeah, I will go ahead and this is going to be one of the last I know I haven't sent you many. I know I've been putting a lot of lessons into one video. There's only a couple more that I have to send you, and I'll be doing so not in a couple weeks, but in the next couple of days, so look out for that. And I know that you are at the end of your school year, so hope that this just brings you a little bit of light at the end of the school year. So on the count of 3, let's go ahead and say drama class, okay? 1, 2, 3, drama class!